Alright, well, I thought I would talk about post-race blues. Probably one of the toughest times you're going to find or struggle with motivation straight after a race, because you've generally, if it's a big race, you've put a lot of time. You may have planned this race anywhere from 2 years to a year to 6 months, etc. And a lot of that training, especially focus training, is a good 3 months out. So your whole thought processes of this race or event has been about everything that you have done day to day for the last 3 to 6 months. The visualization of the race, the visualization of how you're going to feel after and how you're going to feel doing it, etc. So when it's done and it's over, it's just like that. It's gone. It's finished. Where obviously leading in, you got time to process everything. You got time to think about how you're going to execute it, how it's going to go, how it's going to play out, and then you're actually doing the event. And then as soon as it's done, it's finished, and it's like it's done. And then you're like, that feeling of, what do I do now? And obviously that's why a lot of people, boom, then go straight in and sign up to a new race, sign up to another race, which is great, which is good. But I think it's important to actually sit back and reflect on the race, but also think about the experiences you've taken from that training block and the experiences that you had to achieve that goal. Especially, I think it's probably sometimes can be harder if you achieve your goal and because all your thoughts is achieving this goal, and then you achieve it and then it's gone. Where sometimes if you don't have the experience you want, or you don't complete it, then you sort of can reflect of what you need to do to get better, to improve, to achieve that goal. So then you sort of shift your mind into working towards achieving that again, or achieving something similar, or working towards achieving that, etc. So I think obviously it's a different experience when you don't achieve and you achieve it. So when you achieve it, it's like it's done, it's gone, and then it sort of disappeared. But you sort of have to embrace the feelings of the achievement, but also being present at the time that you do achieve it, and soak in the feelings and the emotions. And obviously we all crave those feelings of completing and achieving your goal again, etc. And it's quite easy then to sort of go, all right, well, what's the next goal? What's the next thing I can focus on? If it's stepping up to something that's going to be putting you outside your comfort zone, especially, and it is harder if those goals that you achieve has set you out of your comfort zone. Then obviously you're looking for that next big thing. But I think it's more about being present and being accepting of what you have achieved, and not sort of think about, well, it's done, it's gone. And then I suppose it's looking and reflecting on your own expectations, where making sure that you are appreciating your effort, appreciating the time that you put in, and the achievement, instead of thinking, oh well, it's gone, it just disappeared. That's the way we work. That's the way our mind works. We achieve a goal, then we move on to the next thing. So not dwelling and thinking, oh well, I should have done better, or I should have done this. I expected a bigger emotional feeling. I expected this and this. Where sometimes when you do things for the first time, it's that sense of achievement is a lot higher, and then when you do it again, you don't quite get that that same feeling. It's sort of hard to replicate. Like, I think like for me personally, just doing the Guzzler, after like a couple of days after, I was sort of thinking about it, and I'm like, well, yeah, it is gone, it's done. But it probably wasn't my A race for the year. So I obviously had put a lot of time and effort to training for it, but I didn't have it. Yeah, it happened, and it's gone, etc. But I think something of like UTMB was the same sort of thing. Like, when I did the race, it was sort of gone, but because it was in a different country, it was something that was completely out of my comfort zone. I was able to sort of, it was a different experience and different feeling, and plus the unknown of how I was going to respond, etc. was different. So it was sort of an emotional feeling after the race compared to, say, the Guzzler, UTA, and UTMB, all completely different experiences. And I look at Tarawera for that instance as well. Tarawera, and I did the miler. Again, I was able to sort of have a different experience again, because it was something out of my comfort zone, and it was my first miler, those sort of things. So when you do races and you've already had similar experiences in those races, it's very hard to replicate the same emotions after it, because you've already experienced it before. So it's like you know, subconsciously you know the feelings, you know the emotions, you know what you're going to do after. You've thought about that sort of thing. So when you do it, it's gone. But I think you try and look at the different experiences, whether it be what you did after it, the people that you did it with, think about the training that you did, think about the sacrifices, think about the people you shared those experiences with, think about the race. Take yourself back to think about how you felt during certain periods, how you overcame certain challenges, and really just, don't think about it's gone, it's over, it's past. Just try and think about present. Okay, well, you've done this. What am I doing now? But try and embrace and think about everything that you did leading up to now, or leading up to achieving that goal. And obviously, we are driven people, and we are always looking for that next big thing. So you draw from all those experiences then to shift your mindset and shift forward to going, okay, well, what can I take from all this to then go into the next bit. And a lot of it too is, and we're on our feet for a long period of time, we're in our head for a long period of time, a lot of it is mentally as well. So you could sort of think about parts of the races where you may have mentally been strong, or you may have mentally been weak, or different aspects of the race that you were weaker on, not as strong on, or you, like I look at the Guzzler, for instance, that 70k to 85k, those, after so many steep downhills, my quads were just caning and sore, and I obviously hadn't equipped my body for the amount of descending on that course and that back end, where I think I felt very comfortable all the way up to 60k. It wasn't out of my comfort zone, so to speak, as far as effort wise. Like, I'd paced myself fairly well, and it was just my body let me down a little bit towards the end, where I just hadn't strengthened my quads up enough for that to be strong in that back end after all the descending. So if I look at that, that's what I want to focus on for the next block and the next build of a weakness to improve. Think about where my head went. Some races you switched on. Some races you'll have those races where you just mentally you're in a state of flow. There's parts where you feel like it's like you're running for 5 minutes and you've been running for 2 hours, or everything's going right. You're able to sort of switch on and overcome everything for those things. But for some reason, when I did the Guzzler, my head wasn't on. I was a bit I felt a bit funny in the day going into it. I don't know, I felt like a bit feverish, but that's probably just because it's before the race. But just when I even at the start line, I don't think I had mentally got my head mentally ready to hurt and to get into the zone. So when I went into the race, I struggled to get into the zone a little bit. I've obviously done this many times, so I was able to switch on to a degree, but I still felt that I wasn't quite on my game and I wasn't quite mentally prepared to really push and dig deep, which hence maybe why that back end of the course I struggled a little bit, because I hadn't quite mentally set myself up, where obviously I just hadn't done enough. And I think that's also looking at balance and looking at life. There's a lot of things sort of going on in the background, which probably just which didn't allow me to fully focus and fully get into that headspace right when I needed before the race. So there's a lot of different things to look back on and to reflect on, but there's also there's a different balance things of that's why it's endurance sports. It's such a mental game where there's so many mental things that you need to put in place, focus, set yourself up, that sort of stuff. But you got to take things from it, and that's one thing I can take. Another thing I can take from that race is, and just looking at different moments and looking at if it's physically or mental. But it is very easy to get unmotivated after a race, and then because you need to recover as well. So you're not training enough, and you're not spending and that's why I always it's good to get back into training but not train. So you're still around supportive people, you're still around the same people, you're still in a routine that's going to keep you focused and keep you switched on, and that's also going to get you hungry again as well. But just so you're not doing anything intense, or you're not training as hard, or you're just moving the body and just taking it flow. But it's good just to be around those same sort of people, but also and that gets you out of your head a little bit as well. So it's also good just to get yourself in a rhythm, get yourself into a pattern again, that you're not just sitting around in your own mind and in your own head. And that's where a lot of these things are going to start coming into play, because you have so much more time. It's the same as taper. That's why tapering sucks, because you're not training. You're not getting that endorphin fix. You're not pushing yourself. You're just doing easy stuff. So you just don't have that buzz and that sense of feeling around you emotionally as well. So hence why taper and after the race is a shocking way to do things. But I hope you can sort of take a few things from that.